Hello, welcome to my Moo Moo moment. I've decided to embark on a very important journey over the course of the next 48 hours, starting tonight, Friday at 8 p.m. and going to Sunday, 8 p.m. and read books that I missed out on as a youth, specifically books from the early to late 2000s. Oh man, we're running from elementary school Emma to high school Emma, and all of the books that laid a waste at the local Books-A-Million. Do y'all have Books-A-Million? I don't care. Point is, I'm very excited. Will I be sleeping? Is it that kind of 48-hour readathon? Will I be conquering this readathon without sleep? No, I'm gonna sleep. Maybe I won't, but most likely I will. Okay, I'm just saying. Let's get into the books that I have chosen. I have 7 here that I have scoured the internet trying to find ones that I didn't read that looked fun, goofy. I didn't want anything hard-hitting. I didn't want anything intense. I just wanted it to be a fun time. We have Devilish by Maureen Johnson, which was published in 2006 when I was in the 6th grade. We, of course, have Gossip Girl, the first Gossip Girl book, which came out in 2002 when I was in the 2nd grade. We have Blue Bloods by Melissa De La Cruz, which came out in 2006 when I was in the 6th grade. We have Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick, which came out in 2009 when I was in the 9th grade and was very popular in like 2012 BookTube. We have Pretty Little Liars, Book 1 by Sarah Shepard, which came out in 2006 when I was in the 6th grade. We have Uglies by Scott Westerfeld, which came out in 2005. That surprised me. And I was in the 5th grade. And then finally, the only book technically on my TBR, which is Legend by Marie Lu, which came out when I was in the 11th grade, 2011. So there you have it. This is what I'm going to try to read over the next 48 hours. I'm hoping to have some fun. I'm mostly hoping to have some commentary that y'all would find entertaining. Okay, cut to me tonight at 8 p.m.
Look great already. I thought it would be really smart to have 2 glasses of wine before I started doing this. So I'm still determined to at least finish 4 of these books. That is a goal I made up right now. I don't feel super great because I had wine and I am tired, and then I had caffeine. Just the chemicals coursing through my veins are warring with each other. But I digress. I'm going to start with Blue Bloods by Melissa De La Cruz, and we're going to read a little vampire moment from 2006 and see how I feel about it. Do you guys love this nose pimple? It's this other one here. I'm about to start my period, so it's pretty cool.
Can I just say that if this book had been super popular, they would have redone the cover? Like how they redid the Dreams of Gods and Monsters cover, or Anne and the French Kiss, and they just left it like this collage. It's like magazine collage everybody did in like middle school, but on a book cover. Ignore the lo-fi beats. This guy's last name is Hazard Perry. They finish each other's sentences and like to read aloud from random pages of infinite jest when they were bored. The brands of these clothings are severely stuck in 2006. I don't even recognize some of them. As a rural child from South Carolina who was in the 6th grade when this book came out, I wouldn't have. But Citizens of Humanity, John Varvatos. They're acting like these are popular brands. I love a period piece. Misha Barton is a major reference point for fashion for this book. Literally. It's written on the page. Every supernatural YA book from the 2000s has to have some sort of weird incest kind of thing. Either implied, or it's just like siblings who are too affectionate, or etc. An example of the weird incest. She and her brother Jack were like the Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. A couple who are not supposed to be a couple, but a couple nonetheless. That's a weird thing to say, because they're twins. That's weird. This book is like full. Pretty sure it's like full incest. I mean, I'm at 12%, and we're not having like a Jace Clary thing where they might be related and then they find out they're not related. These people are twins, and the Wade. They're thinking of the thoughts. I'm at 41% and it is 10:14. We're just moving along here with Blue Bloods. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's very readable and it's very ridiculous, which is what I was looking for. So I like this line. These people were truly deluded, Skylar thought to herself. They actually thought they were former angels or something, just what the world needed, more self-aggrandizing rich people. She was like, eat the rich, literally, because I'm a vampire. He looked skinny and sexy in his ripped Ben Folds t-shirt. What? I have never associated Ben Folds with sexy before, so that's fun. We cannot reproduce among ourselves, that is true. We cannot create new life. We merely carry the spirits of those who have passed in a new embryonic form through in vitro fertilization. I believe it's even common among the red bloods these days. Our women are implanted with the seed of an immortal consciousness so it can take on a new physical shell in the cycle of expression. What? I finished Blue Bloods by Melissa De La Cruz. It is currently 11:50, and I finished it. Very easy read. It was about 300 pages, but a light 300 pages. A easy breezy vampire incest story, 300 pages. Let me tell you, this book is very Gossip Girl. This book is very early dark academia. This book is the Mortal Instruments. This book is everything. I hated it and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. The folklore behind this whole world building, the confusion over the science of how these vampires exist, was so sloppy and made almost no sense. But man, oh man, I could have read another 200 pages of that absolute train wreck of 2006 references and weird, very weird incest, vampire, loved each other in another life, destined to be together storyline. I didn't like the incest part. That part was baffling. Overall, though, feel pretty good about that. Feel like that was a good experiment and something that I missed out on that I really don't ever hear anyone talk about, but I added it. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do. I lied. I know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to read Pretty Little Liars though now. That's a short book. That's less than 300 pages. I don't know if I'll get the same joy out of it as I got out of Blue Bloods, but you never know. So, let's dive right in. Ignore my dirty screen. Why is it saying that I'm 11 pages in? I have never read Pretty Little Liars. It always feels wrong to read things on the computer. For me personally, I just feel a bit like I'm doing homework, but since BookTube is like doing homework, we are here. Silly. Silly, silly, silly. Here we go. 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. That's how that song goes, right? Don't worry, we are still in the primal 2006 reference range. I'm not leaving it. I'm gonna have my Abercrombie references. I'm gonna have my Juicy Couture references. I'm gonna have them. The lo-fi beats are really coming hard. This book really reminds me of reading Teen Vogue in 2006 or 5 or 7. The nostalgia, the horror, in equal parts. I'd like to make a note, both of these books have mentioned Citizens of Humanity jeans, and I googled it, that apparently was a brand. I didn't, I guess I just, everyone here just wore mall clothes. And I wore clothes from the thrift store because my mother refused to buy me name brand clothes because walking billboard and expense. I feel like I missed out on a whole trend of pant. First book, we had incest. Second book, Pretty Little Liars. You know what we get Pretty Little Liars? We get a teacher who is 20-something years old, 22 or 3 or 4, in their mid-20s, making out, dating a 16-year-old. So that's super gross and weird, and I hate it. And I forgot about this. Somehow I forgot about this, despite the fact that I was like, wow, this book is a lot like the pilot of the first episode of Pretty Little Liars. This book is well written. I think it's well written. But the subject matter is pushing it for me. Pushing my limits. Are we sick of these ankles? I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sorry. My little nighttime fan is on, so there's even more white noise than normal. 11:30. I'm at 50% of the way through Pretty Little Liars. I'm hating it. It's awful. It reminds me of high school too much. Like the TV show came out when I was in high school, and I would watch it with these people who I thought were my friends who just didn't like me. So it's just giving me a lot of that energy. Okay, see you in the morning. I'm gonna read Uglies. I've already started reading Uglies, so that's a lie. About 25% of Uglies so far. We're here. We're here and we're doing it. I want to be in Uglyville. That sounds fun. It sounds like Whoville. Just the names in this movie. In this movie? Why isn't there an Uglies movie? In this book are unreal. The fact that David is a weird name, and her name is Tally. Tally isn't that different from David. I'd say Tally's like a foot into Montessori school, but it's not all that different, you know. I'm 50% of the way through in my heart. In actuality, I'm about 25% of the way through. I'm very tired. It is 3:07. Back to very cool relationship of a 16-year-old trying to make a man in his 20s jealous while he teaches her English. That's so cool. I look like I do IT in the 80s. I am currently on page 217 out of 303 pages for Pretty Little Liars. I think I'm gonna go take a bath because I want to, and I will finish reading Pretty Little Liars. It is currently 5:32, so I think we're tracking pretty well. I think I can finish both this and Uglies tonight, which is great, which gives me time to read more tomorrow. Yeah, so we're gonna do it. I finished Pretty Little Liars, and of course, lo-fi beats to study and relax to is playing in the background. Wow, did I hate Pretty Little Liars. I hated it, though, the way that I hate the TV show, which is that, while very entertaining and dramatic, it is so dramatic, and a lot of the things that happen, I feel like, romanticize or kind of make things seem cooler than they are, like having a relationship with your teacher when you're 16 and having a relationship with an older man, and all the parents in this book are kind of bad. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it, but it was like so similar to the TV show. It was eerie. I'll say that. I am going to finish Uglies now. I'm a little tired, but I think I'm gonna soldier on. Might do a little shot of tequila. Would that be fun for y'all? I think this book would be more interesting if she just became a pretty. I just like the whole, like, I'm gonna, like, tramp through the woods and do a Katniss Everdeen. I know this was before the Hunger Games, but do a Katniss Everdeen. Ugh, boring. Two of the girls, the main girl and her best friend, they could have fallen in love, but now they're fighting over a man. Could have had it all. Could have had it all. We have none of it.
It's the end. I'm not enjoying it, but I am picturing Catch That Kid. I am picturing Kristen Stewart and Catch That Kid, Agent Cody Banks. I just had the thought that all the pretties are just Instagram models.
It is 9:15, and I just finished Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. I have very mixed feelings about this book. I think it was entertaining, but I was also very bored. I hated the insta-love, but enjoyed the fan canon in my head of the main character getting with her best friend and them having a queer sapphic romance. I enjoyed the world building, but also hated it because I thought it was like not that fleshed out, and I wanted more, and we didn't have more, and I wanted more pretty world. And I know that's what the second book is about, but I wanted it in the first book. And finally, I hated the best friend character at the beginning, and then I really liked her at the end when she became a pretty and became kind of mean, but also like cool mean, like mean girl mean. I thought that was fun. So that's where I'm at with that book. Now I think I'm gonna read Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick, which is this angel book. It's the longest book on this TBR. And I think I want to start Legend on audiobook is what I'm thinking.
Every time I read this word, I hear Chance. So nothing can sound serious. We've got e-zines. We've got untwins. The love interest's name is Patch. He's gonna be an archangel cigar-smoking boy named Patch, a la Patch Adams. And he's asking her such terribly mean and inappropriate questions in biology class. It's like Twilight, but somehow worse. I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm entertained, but I'm so what? Patch's eyes are black holes, which can't be nice looking. Just two big old fucking black holes. Big old Coraline, undead, unmother, button eyes, black hole. I'm very tired. I think I'm gonna go to bed soon. Hello. It is currently 11:30. I've been reading Hush Hush all morning. I'm about 40% of the way through. I'm really enjoying this book, which is weird because I really thought from the cover, because it's so ugly, that I would hate it, but it's honestly a lot of fun. Apparently, Patch smells like damp, dark earth. That's not a nice smell.
Third time in this book, somebody has come up behind her to teach her how to do something. Every one of these books, the girl has to do a Google search because she thinks that her bad boy boyfriend might be supernatural, and it always makes me laugh. My parents would never have let me go camping as a sophomore in high school with two random boys. Ever. 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 There's something delicious about a third act of a YA supernatural book from 2009. It's 1 o'clock, and I just finished Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. Ooh boy, this book got everything. It's got excitement, it's got Maine, it's got angels, it's got fallen angels, it's got possession, it's got bad boys, it's got really dense, heavy, confusing plots and folklore. It's got it all. I ended up genuinely really enjoying this book, which is funny. Like, I don't think it's a good book, but I also think it is kind of a good book because it is so gripping and exciting. I really liked the main character. This is probably the only main character I have liked that I've read so far for this challenge. I thought she was really interesting. I thought she was fun. I liked her best friend. I enjoyed the dynamics. I enjoyed the excitement. Patch, a delight. In the worst possible way, a delight. I'm going to listen to Legend. This world building is too real. Like, I'm assuming this is going to become like a Romeo and Juliet story, but how do you get past like your boyfriend murders your brother? I have 2 hours left in this audiobook. Kind of bored. I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it. I'm just not interested in The world building, I think the characters are fine. It's just the world building is fairly uninteresting to me. I have an hour left. I hate to say it, but this is one of the most boring YA books I've ever read. Uglies was also very boring, but the ending wasn't, so that's what I'm hoping for here. Some excitement with the ending. Not Marie Lu's fault, obviously, but there's too much virus talk for me. Hello. I finished Legend by Marie Lu. It is 7 o'clock. I have decided to ring that bell and call this challenge because I don't have time to read another book. I am now going to change lighting and sit down, and we will do a little wrap up of this weekend. Welcome to the wrap up, where I'm going to talk about these books, obviously, in this little 48-hour readathon challenge. I read 5 popular-ish YA books that I missed out on in my childhood. My TBR was 7, I hit 5. I think that's pretty good, despite the fact I had quite a difficult personal weekend. So, pretty happy with that, and it was a very fun distraction. So, I read Blue Bloods, Pretty Little Liars, Uglies, Hush Hush, and Legend. So, starting with Blue Bloods, I really enjoyed Blue Bloods. I had a really great time reading it. It was ridiculous and silly, but in such a fun way. I loved the 2006 references, the Y2K vibes. If I had read this book as a high school student, I think I would have loved it. What was yikes about it? The incest plotline, the rampant fat phobia, and the fact that the entire time I was like, can they say that? Can they make these teenagers sound this adult? Next, Pretty Little Liars. This came out in 2006 as well. I was overall just feeling nothing while I was reading this, and it's mostly because this is word for word like the pilot episode of Pretty Little Liars, the TV show, which I have seen multiple times. But lots of yikes here. We had fat phobia, we had grooming, we had adult men dating minors. There's just so much yikes about this book. Next, I read Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. Uglies is a YA dystopian novel that came out in 2005. It is the oldest book on this list. I was in the 5th grade when this book came out. I think that I would have not liked this as a teenager. I didn't really enjoy books like this. Like, I hated Delirium by Lauren Oliver, if anyone remembers that. I just was bored through most of this book. I liked the beginning and I liked the end. I liked the talk of Prettyville and Uglyville or whatever. I thought that was kind of funny. But there were some yikes stuff. Again, fat phobia. And then not really a yikes, but more of an annoying thing. It was just a very bad love triangle and it was super boring. Next, I read Hush Hush. This is probably my favorite book I read for this challenge because it was fully ridiculous. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I would have loved this as a high school student. I loved it as a 25-year-old. It was honestly a lot of fun. Yikes, fat phobia. And we also had some creepy dudes. A lot of creepy dudes. So I kind of said that this was like a mix of like Twilight, Riverdale, and a Laini Taylor book, like A Daughter Smoking Bone, and I feel like that's pretty accurate. So there's that. Overall, I had a really good time. I really liked the main character. She was my favorite main character I read, and I thought the vibes were hilarious and just a blast, and it was so silly. And then finally, Legend, which I just read. Legend, completely fine. There was nothing yikes about it. Overall, I thought it was a well-plotted, well-written book. I just wasn't really for me. It's not a concept that I really enjoy. But I had a great audiobook. So that is everything I read this weekend. I thought this was really fun. To cap this weekend off, I'm not going to film this because it's just something I'm doing for fun, is my boyfriend and I are going to watch Beautiful Creatures on Zoom. You know, those southern vibes. It's set in South Carolina. I live in South Carolina. I've seen the movie. I read the book. One of the goofiest things that exist, in my opinion. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a lovely day.